On this week's episode of Nikon's Birding Adventures TV, we're taking you to Botswana. And on this episode, I'm going to handpick the very best birds from this bird-rich destination. On top of that, we'll be traveling to some of the most scenic parts of the country, from the Makgadikgadi Pans to the Chobe River floodplain and to the Okavango Delta. Let's go birding. Botswana, in the heart of southern Africa, is well known for having some of the best wilderness areas in the world. With a full 38% of its land devoted to wildlife conservation, the country has the feeling of moving through an immense nature wonderland. Botswana is a rarity in our overpopulated, overdeveloped world. Untamed and untamable, it is one of the last great refuges for nature's magnificent pageantry of life. Experience the stunning beauty of the Okavango, the vastness of the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, the otherworldliness of the Makgadikgadi Pans, and the astoundingly prolific wildlife of the Chobe National Park. Botswana is one of Africa's birding hotspots and represents the last stronghold for a number of rare and magnificent bird species, including wattle cranes, pygmy geese, secretary birds, and Pell's fishing owls. Get ready for another birding adventure from Botswana, the heart of southern Africa. For me, Botswana is such an amazing destination because it's not just about birds, it's also about the amazing other wildlife that you can experience here. This is raw nature at its best, and we got to experience some of Africa's most magnificent predators on the hunt. Right behind us. They've got a kill. They've got a kill. These females have killed a wildebeest probably early this morning. The male lions have not been with them, and they are vocalizing. 2, possibly 3, maybe a single male lion are coming here to join the females and to eat their fill. You can see that tiny cub, probably only about 2 months old, really, really young, and the females are letting him feed, most often in a pride. When there's males around, the males will feed first. They'll then allow the females to feed, and the females will generally allow really young cubs to feed, but any older cubs they'll generally kind of chase off and get aggressive with. But everybody gets their full from a big meal like a wildebeest here, or a canoe which they've just killed. In Africa, life and death is all too apparent on a regular basis. There's always somebody there to clean up after the kill. So we've got some vultures on a kill here, and these are the undertakers of the African bush. Right here on my screen, I'm zoomed in on a lappet-faced vulture. This is the largest of all the vulture species, and this is quite an organized system. When something dies in the African bush, the lappet-faced, the biggest lappet-faced are going to come in first. And because of their large bills, those huge bills, they are the only vultures that can actually tear open the carcass from the back. So they'll tear open the carcass, open it up, and then you'll often have white-headed vultures coming in and white-backed vultures coming in, feeding on all the scraps of meat. And then once the bones are left, you'll then have the hooded vultures with their very small, delicate bills picking at the little pieces of meat in the rib cage and on the bones of the actual carcass. So here we've got this organized system of undertaking in the bush. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization, and by Hobie Mirage Drive Kayaks. Enjoy nature effortlessly. The kingfishers, rollers and bee-eaters are synonymous with Botswana. Not only are these birds very closely related, but they are amongst the most spectacularly colored birds in the world. Birders and even non-birders are fascinated by kingfishers. These brightly colored birds are beautiful and they're easy to find here in the Okavango Delta. There's no shortage of them here. You've got striped kingfishers here, brown hooded kingfishers, woodland kingfishers, in fact there's one calling right here, pied kingfishers, malachite kingfishers, even giant kingfishers, all abound here in the Okavango Delta. Bee-eaters are found in many parts of the old world, but nowhere are they better represented than in Africa. And here in the Chobe region of northern Botswana, you can find 6 of the different 26 species found worldwide. Bee-eaters are characterized by their down-curved bills and their propensity for hunting flying insects, especially bees, and also by their bright colors. But there are very few birds in the African bush that are more beautiful than the southern carmine bee-eater. We've just got magnificent light here on a blue-cheeked bee-eater perched at the top of this dry tree. Blue-cheeked bee-eaters are strongly migratory. They come down to southern Africa in the summer months and then they'll return to equatorial or northern tropical Africa during the winter months. Blue-cheeked bee-eaters will nest communally with another strongly migratory species, the European bee-eater. And here we've got white-fronted bee-eaters. And they're going off, sallying forth, catching insects. They'll feed predominantly on bees, but also butterflies, wasps, and any other insects that they can catch on the wing. You'll notice what they'll do with a wasp or a bee is they'll beat it and they'll actually carefully remove the sting and then they'll swallow it. Of the 26 species of bee-eaters, the little bee-eater is among the smallest. This tiny little bird is also amongst the most numerous of all the bee-eaters in Africa. In fact, it's estimated that there are approximately 80 million individuals of this tiny, enigmatic little bird. The rollers are amongst the most beautiful of the African birds. We've got 5 different species which occur here in southern Africa, and all 5 of them can occur here in northern Botswana. Lilac-breasted roller, the beautiful broad-billed roller with that nice yellow bill, purple roller, which we've had, it's a very, very large roller, very distinctive eye stripe, and we've also even had European roller, which is obviously a migrant, comes down to here from Europe and spends the summer months here and then migrates back to Europe. It's not only about bright colors in Botswana, but it's also about the magnificent sounds of the African bush. The calls you hear around me here belong to a very common bird called the white-browed sparrow weaver. They nest communally in these thorn trees, and they have to become really, really good singers. Now, amongst the group, you're going to have subordinate individuals who only sing choruses. Then you're going to have the dominant pair, and the dominant pair will do a duet. But then the dominant male will take this one step further, and he'll have a third type of song. He'll do a solo song. And that solo song is to attract the female, to get her into breeding condition, and to get her to mate with him. The duet is to strengthen the bond between the dominant pair, and the chorus, with all of them together, is to advertise their territory, that this is their roost and no other sparrow weavers should come near them. Just wonderful how we have these amazing things in nature which always astound us and always amaze us. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization. 4 birds that I like to call the star birds of Botswana are the African pygmy goose, the secretary bird, the Pell's fishing owl, and the wattled crane. We traveled all over the country in quest of these incredible birds, and we started off in the Chobe River floodplain area for the African pygmy goose. Just stopped the Land Rover right next to these pygmy geese here, and in typical African pygmy goose fashion, the whole lot of them, there must have been 5 or 6 of them, all took off in a flock. Yeah, they're coming back again. We may be lucky. Yeah, they come back again, all flying past us here. They've gone to land further up down the channel. So what this means for us is we've got to be super stealthy when we approach them. So we're going to try and, I can see where they've landed just further down the channel. We're going to try and stalk them and try and get some good looks. Wow, that took some driving up and down here. But right behind us here in this flooded channel of the Chobe River lies one of the smallest ducks in the world, the African pygmy goose. Now, there are 3 different species of pygmy goose worldwide, and this is, without doubt, the most beautiful. The smallest perching duck in the entire world, the diminutive African pygmy goose. I've got them right behind me here. If we look closely at them, you'll notice that the male is superbly colored. Got a bright green patch on his face, that nice white head and white neck. What a spectacular bird. The female next to him, not as brightly colored. The interesting thing about these African pygmy geese is that they'll nest in trees. Just like the wood ducks of North America, they'll nest in a hole in a tree. If you look at their bills, you'll notice they've got very unduck-like bills. Their bills look more like geese, hence the name pygmy goose. But this is certainly not a goose at all. This is the smallest member of the perching duck family. After our visit to the Chobe, we made our way to the spectacular Okavango swamps, where we went in search of one of the most highly sought after birds in the world. One of the things that always astounds me about this bird is that it is so patchily distributed. In fact, in the entire Okavango swamp, which is about 1.2 million hectares, there's believed or estimated to be only 100 pairs of Pell's fishing owl. 200 birds in 1.2 million hectares. So the old saying, looking for a needle in a haystack, certainly rings true for this bird. And I just hope that we're going to turn that saying on its head in the next few days here at Kidjara in the middle of the Okavango. And here we are. This is awesome. We've got the bird. I can't see it yet, but Robbie's going to try and take us around for another look. Softly. Shh. Shh. Pell's fishing owl through my Nikon edge scope and my Nikon camera. Look at that. This bird has got to be, I don't know, 50, 60 feet away at the top of this tree. Right at the very top of this tree. My Robbie. Awesome, bro. Awesome. Oh, man. Pell's fishing owls have got no feathers on their tarsi, which are their feet. And the reason they have no feathers and very, very scaly feet is that they're able to get that grip on their slippery prey, the fish that they're after here.
They hunt at night, and it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon now. In about an hour's time, this pair of Pel's fishing owls will fly out to an exposed perch over the river, and they'll sight fish from that perch. Then they'll dive down into the water with their legs outstretched and their talons outstretched like that, and they'll actually close their eyes at the last minute, grab the fish, and then fly up to a perch and eat it. They feed predominantly on fish, but they'll also feed on crabs. They'll also feed on frogs, amphibians, and even baby crocodiles. Wow! These are massive owls, up to over 2 feet tall, 62 centimeters tall. Massive big rufous owls with black eyes, black eyes. Such incredible predators. They don't have ear tufts like other owls. They've got this rounded head. Whew. This is one of the hardest owls to see in Africa, especially Southern Africa. The Pel's fishing owl.
Stay with us, because after the break, we're going to feature the 2 remaining star birds of Botswana. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization. Secretary birds are one of the most bizarre raptors in the world, and there's no better place to look for them than the country of Botswana. We journeyed inland to the Makgadikgadi Pans area of north-central Botswana to find this magnificent species. This is the world's only terrestrial raptor, the stately secretary bird. And this is its home, these open grasslands of the Makgadikgadi Pans. These birds will stride with their long legs across the grasslands here, looking for insects, lizards, and snakes. In fact, pretty much anything that they can overpower. They are very, very strange birds because they share the breeding habits and the nesting habits of eagles, but then they also share affinities with bustards and cranes. And yet, this is believed to be a raptor. Whatever its affinities, this is a remarkable bird. This is a bird which is a signature species of these open areas here in the central Botswana region. You can see how he's trampling in the grass here. He's probably got something fairly large in the grass. He's standing in the grass there with his feet like that. Trampling away. You can see those feet working in the grass. I'll be pretty surprised if he doesn't come up with a snake or something big here. This is what secretary birds will do, is they'll use those long legs to stand and stomp on a snake until they overpower it. Actually, he's bringing up a snake. He's got a yellow snake in his bill. You can see him. Oh, he just gobbled it down so quickly. That is typical secretary bird behavior right here on this pan. This was spectacular to see the bird in the grassland, obviously saw something and then used those long legs, stomp, 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 overpowered the snake and then took it up in the bill, head first, down the hatch and gone. What a beautiful and stately bird, the secretary bird right here in the Makgadikgadi Pans of Botswana. From the Makgadikgadi Pans, we journeyed back to the Okavango Delta region, especially the area around Chitabi, where we went in quest of the wattled crane, one of the rarest cranes in the world. So we've just come through some fairly thick thorn scrub over here, and this is perfect habitat here for wattled cranes. These open, damp areas is exactly where they like to hang out, and we've just got to look for basically enormous white birds, white and grey birds.
Well, we've just been walking through the bush and now we've come across 6 wattled cranes here in this flooded open area. They're about 200 yards away from me here, just feeding on the other side of this pan. We got beautiful light on them this morning. You can see those nice white necks, those grey backs, and of course the red on the bill. This is the largest crane species in Africa. It reaches about 5'7", so nearly 6 foot tall. They are really monstrous cranes. They're also the most endangered cranes in Africa. There's only about 7,000 wattled cranes left on planet Earth. Now we're going to see if we can close this distance to get some shots here. We need to close it by about 50 yards and get some good footage. So we're going to try and use this tree as cover and get a little bit closer. We're going to creep up very slowly. We've got 2 wattled cranes between the trees there. Oh man, look at that standing together. You can see the wattles coming down from their faces. Look at the white-faced whistling ducks in the foreground. We've got 3 wattled cranes coming in. Look at that. We're only probably 100 yards from them now. We've managed to sneak up on them. Wow. Got these cranes displaying, opening their wings. They're doing a little mating dance here. Presenting each other with sticks. Yes, spectacular.